A very good morning, students. This is our revision video from economics, and the chapter title is People as Resource. The student, as we explained the chapter earlier in a complete manner, we have done all the things which are required after the completion of chapter. So basically, now the videos which are uploaded by the teacher nowadays, it is just only for give you the summary or this main points as a revision purpose from every chapter. So today I have taken the chapter Economics, second chapter. The title is People as Resource. As you know that when we say people as resource, it means that we are referring the people of a country who are productive in terms of their skills and their ability, and they are earning something to survive their life. Okay, and such type of population are known as a productive population of a country. Like any other resource, population too is a resource, a human resource. This is positive side of a large population that is often overlooked when we see only the negative side and consider only the problems of providing the population with food, education, and access to the health facility. When the existing human resource is further developed by becoming more educated and healthy, it is termed as a human capital formation, which adds to the productive power of the country just as a physical capital formation. So, we always see that large population is always we see that it is a challenge for a country that but at the same time we can utilize the large population by providing them proper education and develop their skill, and then we can use the population as a resource and as a human capital. Now, how we can achieve this? Investment in human resource through education, training, and medical care. When we give the proper education, training, and medical care to every single citizen of a country, then definitely such type of investment ends into a good result as a physical capital. This can be observed directly in the form of higher income earned due to the higher productivity of the more educated or the persons who are better trained, as well as the higher productivity of the healthier people. Now you can see that India's Green Revolution is a dramatic example of how the productivity of scars and the resources can be rapidly increased by the input of greater knowledge in the form of improved production technologies. IT revolution of India is a striking example of how the importance of human capital has come to acquire a higher position than that of material, plant, and machinery. As you can see that there is a beautiful diagram and the caricature that the girl is asking what is human resource. Is it land or labor? Now the boy is answering it is more than that. How? What is human capital? Is it like rupee, paise or dollar? Now the boy is answering it is more than that. Yes, human as we ourselves are the greatest resource, as you know that land or any other resource can be utilized by only us. So if we are not skilled enough, if we are not educated enough, then we cannot understand that what resource should be used at which time and how much we should use the resource, so that we can also save the resource for the future generation, as we understood the concept of sustainable development. So it is all about the people is the greatest resource. Now we can also understand it by that the more educated and the healthier people gain through higher income. Just like them, society too gains in other indirect ways, because the advantages of a more educated or a healthier population spreads to those also who themselves were not directly educated or given health care. It is a fact that human capital is in one way superior to the other's resources, like land and physical capital. It is because human resource can make use of land and capital. Land and capital control become useful on its own. You can imagine that why we prefer that human capital is more important than the other capital like land and money, as both resource land and money can be only used in a proper way by the human. That's why human is the greatest resource. Okay, then we continue. In the there was a story of Sakal and the story of the other boy Vilas. We have discussed it earlier. Now we will come to the point that what is the quality of population. Yes, basically the quality of population depends on the three things: the literacy rate, health of a person indicated by life expectancy, and skill formation acquired by the people of the country. It is the quality of population which ultimately decides the growth rate of a country. For an economic, illiterate and unhealthy population are a liability. On the other hand, literate and healthy population are an asset. Yes, if you compare the people who are educated and who are healthier, who are skillful with the people who are uneducated, who are not possessing any training and any skill. So at the first stage, the people who are healthier, the good, skillful and the educated, they are just an asset. They are just an you can say advantage for a country, while on the other hand, the people who are uneducated and unhealthy, unskilled, they all are a burden on the country. Now, how the education is important. You can see that we will talk about the importance of education, that how the government is helping to provide every section of the society the cheap and affordable education. The literacy rate in 1951 was 18%, which increased to 65% in 2001. Literacy is not only a right, it is also required if the citizens are to perform their duties and enjoy their right properly. However, there is a vast difference across different sections of population. Among males, the literacy is nearly 50% higher than the female. It is about 50% higher in urban areas in comparison to the rural area. Literacy rates greatly vary from 96 in some districts of Kerala to below 30% in some parts of the Madhya Pradesh. Over 5 lakh villages in India have been provided with the primary schooling system. Now, unfortunately, this huge expansion of schools has been diluted by the poor quality of schooling and high dropout rates. Yes, so many people in the middle of the year they left the school. Sarv Shiksha Abhiyan is a significant step towards providing elementary education to all children. Elementary means starting 1st to 5th education in the age group of 6 to 14 years by 2010. It is a time-bound initiative of the central government in the partnership with the states, the local government and the community for achieving the goal of universalization of elementary education. To increase the enrollment, elementary education, bridge courses and the back to school camps have also been initiated to encourage attendance and the retention of children and improve their nutritional status. Midday meal also launched and implemented in these areas. These policy could add to the literate population of India, and the aim is only so that at least every child of a country should be educated at the elementary level. Now, efforts have been made in the 10th plan to increase the enrollment in higher education of 18 to 23 years age group from the current 6 to 9% by the end of the plan period. The strategy focuses on increased access, quality adaptation of state-specific curriculum, modification, vocationalization and the networking on the use of information technology. The plan also emphasizes on distant e-education, convergence of formal, non-formal, distance and the IT education institution. Over the last 50 years, the number of university and institutions of higher learning in specialized areas have been increased significantly in India. So these are all the you can say attempts and initiative which has been taken by the Indian government with the help of state government and the community government to provide education at elementary and the higher secondary level to the children of India. Now, health. A firm maximize profit. Do you think any firm would be persuaded to employ people who might not work efficiently as a healthy worker because of ill health? No, no organization, even the private or the government, can be hired or can give the salary to the people who are not healthy. So, health is a wealth. The health of a person helps him to realize his potential and ability to fight illness. For an organization, an unhealthy person becomes a liability, it means burden, responsibility. Health is an indispensable basis for realizing one's well being. Henceforth, improvement in the health status of the population has been the priority of the country so that we can use the human resource or the human capital. The aims of our national policy too are to improve the accessibility of healthcare, family welfare and nutritional services with a special focus on underprivileged segment of the population. Over the past 5 decades, India has significantly established a vast health infrastructure and has developed manpower needed at primary, secondary and tertiary sector in government as well as in the private sector. Due to the adoption of these measures, the life expectancy have increased to over 64 years in 2000. Infant mortality rate too has come down from 147 in 1951 to 75 in 2000. Crude birth rate have also dropped to 26.1 and death rates to 8.7 within the same duration of time. In assessing the future progress of the country, increase in life expectancy and improvement in child care and useful increase in longevity of life is an indicator of good quality of life marked by self-confidence, the protection of children from infection, ensuring nutrition along with mother and the child care are the steps that have reduced the infant mortality. So, in this way, that to provide good health to every section of the society, how the government has come up with the initiative plans which has controlled the infant death rates, which has controlled the life expectancy also. So these are the ways that how the government is performing. In several places of India which do not have even these basic facility, just 4 states such as Karnataka, Andhra Pradesh, Tamil Nadu, Maharashtra have 81 out of 181 medical colleges. On the other hand, states such as Bihar and Uttar Pradesh have poor health indicates and indices and few medical colleges. So it is all about that. Now the question arises that when we are saying human as a resource, as a greatest resource, so why the population of unemployment is still in the society? Now you can see unemployment is defined as the condition when people who are willing to work at the prevailing wages fail to find jobs. Sheila is not willing to work outside her domestic domain. Jitu and Situ are very small and do not, so they cannot be counted in the workforce population. Neither Jitu, Situ or Sheila can be counted as unemployed. It is because those people who between 15 years to 59 years of age are counted in the workforce population. Sakal's brother and sisters do not fall within this age group, so they cannot be considered as unemployed. So in case of India, unemployment is prevalent in the rural and the urban area. However, the nature of unemployment are different in rural and urban area. While in case of rural areas, there is seasonal and disguised unemployment. In urban areas, have most of unemployment is educated one. Yes, in urban, the city area, there are the people who are unemployed, but they are educated. The unemployment when people are not able to get jobs during some months of the year is termed as a seasonal unemployment. People who are dependent on agriculture usually face such kind of problem. There are certain busy seasons when sowing, harvesting, weeding, threshing is done. In certain months, there is no much work for the people who are entirely dependent on agriculture. So that's why they are known as a seasonal unemployment people. In case of disguised unemployment, people appear to be employed. These people have agriculture plot where they find work. They usually happens This usually happens among family members who are engaged in agriculture activity. Here the service of 5 people are needed to work, but it engages 8 people. 3 people are extra. So in this way, they are also lagging behind to earn their economy. Unemployment results in the wastage of manpower resource. People who should be an asset for the economy turn into a liability. There is a widespread of hopelessness and despair among the youth. People do not have enough money to support their family. Inability of educated people who are willing to work to find gainful employment implies a great social waste. Further, unemployment tends to enhance economic overload. The dependence of the unemployed on the working population increases, and as a result, the quality of life an individual as well as society is adversely affected. When a family is forced to live on a bare subsistence level, then there is a general decline in the health status. Withdrawal from the school system is also increased. So you can see that how the health is important, students, to use human as a resource. So health, education, and training played a very significant role, so that we can produce productive, skillful, and healthy citizen as a human resource for any nation. So do the revision of every chapter like this, underline the main points, and then solve the NCERT question. Till then, take care. Goodbye.